Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Arcanis Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Korvac. Korvac? What's that? We like to give you something that's different. Korvac. We're going to get into it right about now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Iconis Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. Don't let the show be a secret. And this is our new series that we wanted to start off with, that we're going to drop on Wednesdays. And this is about, what are we reading, and it comes into what are we reading. And the reason why is, as much as we fan cast these books, there's also great storylines you always should check out, right? So it's not the worth of the book, but it's the worth of the story. So don't come and ask me or ask us, hey, how much this book is worth. No, that's not a conversation to have. But if you come up and you ask any of us, what's a good storyline that I should read, regardless of who publishes it, then we can tell you which books and storylines to add into your long box for your collection, be it if you're new or maybe someone that's been in business for a while and collecting for a while, maybe you overlooked it, or, we can just go down memory lane. So, as Rod said, we're going to be talking about Korvac. Before we get into that, remember, like, subscribe, and share. You can find this show where we got wherever you find this show, right? Be it on the podcast or be it on the YouTube channel. And if you want a template like what we have right now, there's the only man you got to reach out to, and that's Jason Reese, the one and only
J Bird Digital Art.
J Bird Digital Art. You know where to find him. You mention him. You reach out to him through the links that we have in this, we have at the end. Let him know you heard about the Iconis Podcast. He'll give you a discount on the work. Okay, there we go. Rod, where can we find you real quick?
You can find me on the World Wide Web at Instagram at Mr. Rod C, MRRODC. From there, you can find me every place else. Let's go.
All right. And Brother Larry, I know this is a one to you, but before you jump into it, please let the masses know where they can find you.
Hey, look for me on Facebook group Forgotten, Obscure, and Underrated Comic Characters. Subscribe to it. Make sure you say yes, that you're going to follow the rules. Otherwise, we'll decline you.
Follow the rules. All right, simple enough, and everyone has fun. So we started off this series, as I said, series before, the episode before, I talked about Micronauts. I run this through my brothers, and Larry brought up Korvac. Now, I know you hear Korvac name in Wonderman, but that's not how he started off. He didn't start off as a director. So, Larry, let us know this series. You said Korvac, so give us some information why people should maybe check it out, what to check out, and let's go.
All right. Well, give you a little history. Korvac, Michael Korvac is a cyborg. He was created as a throwaway character, actually, by, Steve Gerber and Jim Starlin. But a couple of guys by the name of Roger Stern and Lynn Wein felt that, hey, we could use this character. It's in the 31st century and give him good adversary to the Guardians of the Galaxy. That exploded into an adversary for the Avengers. So it's a wonderful storyline. It goes through Avengers Volume 1, number 167, all the way up to like 178, and a couple of Thor annuals in there. Great character. Just a little quick storyline of what it happens is, starts out as this cyborg, half of his body's cut off, just like from the waist down, he's a computer. Comes back through time, ends up falling into Galactus' ship, downloads a bunch of the information, and that, of course, ends up basically evolving him. You get so many characters in this, they actually had to, afterwards, they actually had the government come in and cut the Avengers roster down to 7 people because there were like 25 different characters.
Long line
including the original Guardians.
Yes.
So
yes. I was excited when you mentioned this one to me, and I'll say this, and I'll let you can, right? So the Korvac Saga, I mean, it runs through those Avengers issues. You can find a trade paperback. Please go to your comic book store, find your back issues. There you go. And what got me is, one, it had the original Guardians of the Galaxy, right? So that is Vance Astro, Starhawk, oh my gosh,
2027.
Charlie 27,
Martin X.
Yondu, Martin X. Yeah, exactly. The original Guardians of the Galaxy, which is one of my favorite teams, that
Yep.
got some love more later on, but not represented the way with Star-Lord, man. I'm Star-Lord. Like, no, not that Guardians. So brought in. And then I like the art. And it was, if you're going back then, rest in peace, sir. George Perez did some of the issues and the art on that. And I always found it funny that he would do Iron Man's mask, but there's times if Iron Man was upset, it's a mask, right? It's supposed to be metal, but you see it with a frown, or it's got a little bit like a straight face.
Yeah.
Those are little whimsical moments. But George Perez doing the art, you can't miss out on this. And when they brought in the characters, I mean, I said Guardians of the Galaxy showed up. Moondragon was in there. Captain Marvel, right? So when he was Captain Marvel, but he comes back as Captain Marvel. They bring in so many, and Beast was, yes, Beast from the X-Men was part of the Avengers at one point. And if you look at the run when he was part of the Avengers, that's Chris Claremont and John Bryan. They were doing the X-Men run at that time, Dark Phoenix Saga, and they would say, oh, well, Beast is away because he's doing this. So a lot of things happen simultaneously. Let's say New York has a lot of issues. This is why there's a lot of heroes there. I wouldn't live in New York. Too many, right? But the saga started from the future. My favorite character in this is Starhawk. Like, I've been a Starhawk fan from moment one up to now, and he's done some revamps on his history. But anytime he was in that, the Defenders, their own book, or anytime they guest star, if I'm walking by a spinner rack, right? I was like,
Yep.
oh, Starhawk, yoink!
Yep.
I don't care if he's just on the cover. I'm grabbing that one issue and I'm walking away to pay and bring it home. All right, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, you even had Odin, the Watcher.
Yeah.
You had
Interesting.
the Collector.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
So many characters.
So let me ask you, Brother Larry, as I like to call you, Brother Larry, what was it from this run out of all Avengers stories that speaks to you or really pulled you in, right? Like, I know, as I said, for Micronauts, we know what it was for me, but what was it for you out of this storyline?
I'd have to say it was a combination of two things. One, again, just like you show me those original Guardians, I'm grabbing that issue. I was also a big Defenders fan, and at the time, and Doctor Strange pops up in it. This is kind of where I actually started reading Avengers myself. And
Okay.
just the fact that you had so many characters, you had such an in-depth story, um, so many things going on in it, that it was, I mean, it was like watching a soap opera for a full year,
Yeah. Yeah.
only being
Hit it
a
on the head.
lot more entertaining.
Yes. Yes. And and then I'll add on that is what things have changed on superhero teams. So now when you
Mm.
see superhero teams, and people might see, comic book fans understand this, but moviegoers are going to see MCU, see it, and it's like, oh, these heroes are all together, they're teaming up, they're fighting a villain, and there's a slight disagreement. They don't realize how much infighting, and I don't mean arguments, I'm talking physical fights, happened on the Avengers. And
Mhm.
and that and those little seeds have played out storylines 20, 30 years later. So you see in that
Yep.
Korvac Saga, Iron Man and Captain America having a real major disagreement, about to come to blows, where Thor is holding back Iron Man, and then I can't remember who was trying to hold back Captain America, and then the Scarlet Witch, yes, that Scarlet Witch, throws a chair with her powers across the room between the two of them, and she says, "We'll have no more." And she actually says it. We are beyond the time of stupid bickering and infighting on this team. We're not going to have any more childish squabbles while I'm a part of this team, period. And they're all like, okay. But that
Sorry.
lays, right,
Sorry.
right. But that lays the groundwork for Civil War. Different ideologies. Like, Tony straight up called Tony Stark. It's like, you're just a mercenary. Because at the time, he's thinking Iron Man is just Tony Stark's bodyguard. He doesn't know it's Tony in the armor.
Yes, sorry.
Right.
Right.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
So as a parent, yeah, that was my tidbit there. So fun read. Like so you like the art, you like the storyline. You said it's a soap opera for yourself over that year of reading. I imagine you also got the annuals or tie-ins too, right?
Of course. Although there weren't as many tie-ins as there are nowadays.
Thank God.
Mm.
Thank God.
Yes.
Right.
But I mean, we have the Defenders show up. So, I mean, having Nighthawk and Starhawk in the same issue. Um, the and this is where you first really find out a little bit about Alita.
Yes. Yes. The other half of Starhawk, right? Because at the time, Alita, I mean, they define it more if you read the Guardians of the Galaxy run by Jim
Yeah.
Shooter that was doing it for a while. With Starhawk, right? They were husband and wife.
Yes.
I know they were
They're in
raised
the same body.
and they're in the same body and they have to switch out. It's thinking, for anyone who's not familiar, think of it like He-Man to a certain example, or
Mhm.
and they actually played it in Thor comic books where if Thor's on Earth, Donald Blake is in another dimension. So anytime you
Yeah.
see Starhawk, the male version, his wife is in a different dimension with their kids. And for her, the only way to get out of that dimension is for him to purposely say, okay, I'm gonna switch bodies with with Alita, and then she comes out as a female version of Starhawk at the time. So a blue costume with a gold belt, very similar powers, and of course they've expanded on that. They've separated them, and this has led to other storylines with Starhawk. I mean, his famous line is, "He the word of the one who knows." I'm like,
Yeah.
so you thought he's precognitive? They've dealt with that even further, but there was a
Yeah.
lot of cool milestones in that series that ran. Like, I mean, I just pointed out one. I think another milestone was and I forget, I'm gonna screw up her name. Is the female android, the female robot there,
Costa.
Josh Joshua? No,
Costa.
Picasso. Yes, yes.
Jocasta. There we go. Thank
Got
you,
it.
Jocasta.
Costa.
I'm not sure if that was her first appearance or not during that series, but she does really make a main. She's part of the storyline during that time. They emphasize on her, so I
Yeah,
think she makes it
that's part of it.
right.
Um, and just and and then Korvac goes from a villain to wanting to help mankind.
Yeah, yeah, in its own way.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
and then you you have Korvac gone. I'm not going to say why.
Right.
So people read. Go pick up the omnibus. Go pick up whatever you can. If you can get the trade paperback, great. Um, you might have to pick up two, I think, to get the full Korvac Saga. But
Oh, right,
yeah.
right, right.
But then he reappears much later in Avengers Academy,
Right.
where he ends up resurrecting the Wasp when she's thought to be dead. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of tie-ins later on in storylines that go back to Korvac, and the things that happened in that series. Even the Cosmic Cube of the Red Skull are involved at one point.
Was a vast storyline, and I'm just like I said, I'm looking at the online here, just like the comic book covers. So when you're getting, as I said, George Perez coming in there, that's another artist that I always like. So that's first and foremost. Um, and the covers are very dynamic. Like during that run,
Mm.
when he was doing that run back then, I mean, he goes back and forth to it multiple times because he loves doing a team book. And the thing with George Perez, I'll say this as an artist, is he's one of the few artists that loves drawing a lot of people in a
Yeah.
screen. I mean, on a screen or on a panel or on a page. Where if you look at other artists, they might say, "Oh man, I got to do 3 characters on a page." George Perez is like, "Okay, I fit 25 guys on this page, and then we're gonna do a splash page, and then we'll put in the page 2, and then we'll bring in all the villains. We'll bring in about 30 of them, and then we'll turn the page, and then we're gonna have them all fight." And like, okay, but George, are you sure you want to do that many? Don't worry about it. Got it. That was George at the time. So this at the time you read his books where he was working on a team book, you got the sense that it was a big team book because he brought in everybody into a fight scene. Like if you look at it,
Oh, yeah.
you might have Thor on page 1, and then they'll show like the force arrows or the air moving all the way to page 3 and see
Yeah.
Thor's hammers hitting somebody on that side, right? Like he's hitting someone long distance, and you see that. So
Yeah.
all his
I
fight
mean,
scenes are grand.
I believe it's a 4-page fold out and Avengers vs. Justice League.
Yes.
And it's like
Yes.
everybody from both teams.
You can't go wrong with that. So, this is what I remember. So obviously it was the introduction of Michael Korvac. We got
Yeah.
more backstory with Starhawk and Alita. A lot of cameos from other people. And I said seeds dropped for future storylines. Jocasta showing up there. I'm not sure. Like I
Wonderman.
said, Wonderman. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Um,
And right, and Wonder Man did a whole funny thing where he was trying to, I don't know if he was trying to show off in front of Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, or
mhm.
not, but she's at the mansion and she's trying to pick up this giant weight in their training room. And then Wonder Man goes, "Oh, well, and it's set for, Thor levels because she couldn't lift it." He goes,
Yeah.
"Oh no, that's Thor level dumbbell. They use like magnet plates to hold it down." And Wonder Man goes, "Look, I'll show you." And he goes and he picks it up, even though he strains a little bit. He picks it up. Yeah. But then he holds it. Pretty much, he picks it up and it's like, okay. He goes, the only thing is this is set for Thor. When he picks it up, he goes, but so he's having problems holding it until Iron Man comes in and has to hit the off switch for him to put it back down. So,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
establishes how strong Wonder Man was back then.
Is. Yeah.
Like it is. Like I mean, his powers developed even more. But at that time, you figure, okay, he's a guy with red glasses and a red jacket. Like physically, how strong he is, and you're like, wait, did he just pick up the weights that Thor uses?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, Korvac's such a great character. They even brought him into 3 different animated series.
Right. So he was in the if I remember
Avengers,
right.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Ultimate Spider-Man,
Oh,
voiced by
yeah.
James Marsters. Not one, that's why. And Guardians of the Galaxy animated series, voiced by Will Wheaton.
Yes.
So,
Yes. So now, live action. I mean, I know there's Avengers movies coming out. I know they're doing Avengers Doomsday. I always wish they did the Korvac Saga in the Avengers movies. I think that's something they could have touched on a little bit more. But the way the MCU was gone, it's kind of gone away from it. We wouldn't have gotten the original Guardians coming in. We would have gotten the MCU version of the Guardians coming in.
I don't
You
want
know,
Sylvester Stallone doing that. No.
no. It is awesome. So, Larry, so what your takeaway? So why should people? I said this is part of the 616. So it's the main universe, all that. And as I said before, this is the storylines that draw you in. So was there a particular part of the storyline that drew you in?
Mm, I think it was the biggest thing I have is you got to get some conflict in your character.
Mhm.
And Korvac is a very conflicted character. He
Yep.
feels he's doing good, but he's doing it in a way that's causing issues.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
And what he's trying to stop is if you read Guardians of the Galaxy, you know that the Earth's been conquered by a reptilian race.
Yes.
And they're the ones who cut off the bottom of his body and turned him into a cyborg. And he's trying to stop that from happening by going back in time, but he ends up in conflict with the Avengers, Defenders, Guardians of the Galaxy, other hangers on. Let's say. Like I said, this blew up so many characters. And I love the fact he had so many characters. But it also gets to the point of you can't keep writing that many characters.
Right.
And so that's where they came in right after with the government and first appearance of Henry Peter Gyrich.
Okay. There we go.
say going, we're cutting the team down. You get 7 members. And
Figure it out.
although he didn't feel like it, he felt he was the token black guy at the time. That's when Falcon first joined.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And I know Gyrick came in and he took like a lot of their computers, a lot of their stuff. And I mean, and once again, forgive my memory. Was this the time that Tony Stark was kind of starting to deal with substance abuse?
That came about 5 years later.
Okay.
But you were seeing him drinking a lot more in panels.
Yeah. Yeah.
As opposed to maybe one or two, over several issues. You would see it like almost every issue.
Right. And his temper, his moods were up and down, but he was a lot more hot-headed back then, and not so cool as Robert Downey Jr. plays him in the MCU. He was, he had a temper.
Yeah.
So,
and that was just about right after he got rid of the nose.
yep. On the costume, on his Spider-Man suit. Yep. And it's
Why would
still
you
pretty much early. Like if you look at the Avengers run over together, that was like starting at issue like 168. So you figure like 12 issues a year, right? On average with your annuals. It was only a couple of years into the Avengers run. I mean, now they're at issue 500. Well, they've gone back to one and gone back to one, but it could have been plus 500, 600 issues at the time.
This was about their 8th year of publishing the Avengers.
Right. Okay.
Because
a lot of stories happen pretty quick.
You have 13 issues a year.
Okay. Right.
And we started at 167, 168. 169 is a different story. It's and then 170 to 177. So you basically have January to November of 1978. And I believe the Avengers were 1966 that they started.
Seems right. I think so. Yeah.
And somewhere around there. And again, guys, like I said, Korvac debuted in Giant Size Defenders 3 in 1975. The funny part was he was supposed to be a throwaway character.
And then someone said, "Hold that thought. Hold that pen for a second."
Yeah, you get Roger Stern and Lynn Wein first bringing him in to the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Jim Shooter, David Michelin, and of course George Perez.
All right, there we go.
And David Winslow doing the color, I believe.
Nice. All right, there we go. Yeah. And Rod, did you ever touch on this saga with the Avengers?
I have not. I have not had an opportunity to look into the saga, the Korvac Saga. I will say that because we were talking about it, I said this is when I looked into it just to see, how much it is, and I'm realizing it's thick and it's like heavy, and I'm like, okay. Well, Mr. Larry will be giving us the official breakdown. I think I'd be able to go through that, then trying to find luckily you said I'm gonna thank God you said there's not a lot of segue off to like a whole bunch of different split off to other episodes or issues or anything else. It's normally kind of contained in the Avengers, right? So that's a good thing. So definitely for anybody who's looking to to pull that up and start digging back in the crates to find it, at least you can just stay in this particular realm and you're good to go. But I'm happy to hear all this because this is definitely good information and just some good stories to now intrigue me to say, okay, now I can sit down and say, okay, let me start going through and finding it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much the only thing other than the Avengers issues I named that you would have to pick up if you want to pick up the full saga is Thor Annual 6.
Okay.
That's the only non-Avengers title for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But of course, if you want to get everything about Korvac, like, the base first appearance and so on, you got Giant Size Defenders 3. Let's see. There's a couple of Marvel Presents Guardians of the Galaxy, which they didn't do a lot of. I mean, I think there's 6 issues of Guardians of the Galaxy in Marvel Presents. And so, hey, that's a good run by itself. And He's just touched on in like 1 or 2 issues there. And then it goes Thor Annual 6 and Avengers 167 to start. Or, that can get pricey because we are talking about, volume 1 of the Avengers.
Yeah.
But I do believe there is an omnibus of it, and I do know there's at least 2 trade paperbacks.
There we go. There we go. So there we go. That's what we wanted to talk about. Everyone, and just let you guys know storylines maybe to add into your long boxes. And I said the little tidbit there is when the Easter egg is if you watch the Wonderman MCU one that's on Disney Plus, the one of the characters, the actors in there is Michael Korvac. But as I said, he's not the one that we're talking about. There, they made him a director. Here, is he's directing the universe. All right. So, any last words, gentlemen, before we wrap this one up?
Again, keep writing, keep drawing. Maybe you might be a creator yourself. And press that little bell down there so you don't miss an episode.
Exactly. Any last words?
Can't say more than that. Can't say
All
more
right.
than that. Can't say more than that. Don't forget the notification. There, I said it again. There you go.
All right, perfect. So everyone, remember, this is a series we started. I said it's not the worth of the book, but the worth of the story. This is what it's all about. And we're telling you, go back to your comic book stores, hit those long boxes, check them out, see what's the ones on the walls, get your omnibus. Go on a dollar bids. Every comic book store has a $1, $2, $5 bid if you want to buy a back issue just as a reader. So we're just promoting that. The stores I go to because I'm back here in Montreal. I go over to Check Swings over in Montreal. I know there's Kitchener, so out in Kitchener, Wow Comics. Then we go through and find your local comic book store and say, hey, heard about this? I want to check it out. Direct me. And they will be more than happy to let you know about that. So put your comments down below. And remember, this whole world was started by a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming. We're out.